Hey, I was just working out at the gym and I had a revelation that was so exciting and so big that I left the gym in the middle and came back here and didn't shower or anything. I just wanted to kind of make this video for you. And it's something that you can kind of participate in, and it's something that you can look at to discover maybe some answer to your questions, and also maybe how to have an answer for the questions that you ask yourself in the future. So for this, grab a pen and paper, because you'll get so much more out of it if you do this before I explain everything. So grab a pen and paper, and if you need more time, pause it to go get a pen and paper. But what I wanted to do was offer you, first of all, to think about some questions that you might have about decisions that you're going to make in your life. Whatever it is. Should I go to this country? Should I meditate? Even if it's just day things, like should I go to that restaurant? Should I tell that person no? Should I ask that person out? Should I leave this? Should I move into this? Whatever it is. So take a second and pause this video and ask yourself that question. And if you have other questions, go ahead and ask those too. But please make sure that you write these questions out before you go forward. So go ahead and pause this video. And in like 10 seconds, I'm going to assume that you've done it and paused it, and then talk about this. All right. So you should have a bunch of questions that you've been asking yourself, maybe deep callings or thoughts of letting go, whatever, and you should have a paper with at least one, maybe several questions written down. Now, the revelation I had was the way people ask the question tells you everything. Some people ask me, and they're really asking themselves, because I don't ever give a specific answer, but I do always want to shine kind of a light on what the inner you might be hoping for, what the deepest calling in you, what the most expansive answer is. Some people ask me a question like, should I leave my spouse? And they're really asking themselves that, and I'm just trying to be a space, like a tree for them, like just being there. And some people ask me, should I stay with my spouse? Now, those are both the same question. But the way they phrase it sometimes tells you something. It's almost like they're phrasing it in a way to get me, or if they're asking themselves in meditation, the universe, whatever, they're phrasing it in a way to get permission to do the thing that their deepest calling wants to do. Now, I'm not going to say that's for sure in every situation. Sometimes people ask permission to stay small. Sometimes people look for excuses and signs to just not step into a greatest calling. But if they're asking in meditation, if they're asking someone who's going to only support their highest calling, if you ask me, I'm going to always be in the support of what your highest expansion is. Not what's something that's destructive to you, but what would help you enjoy life more, be more connected to yourself, and bring so much more to the table on this planet. But people phrase the question often in a way that the yes answer will give them permission. But if you say, should I leave this job, or should I stay at this job, a yes answer is a totally different situation. Nobody has ever said, should I keep smoking? That's a pretty rare question. And the reason is because it's not our deepest calling to keep smoking, right? Unless there's some insight they have that they want to prove something new about health that we don't know about, or, like when you connect to yourself all the way, like then you keep smoking. That's a different thing. But most people in their highest, if they're smokers, often they ask a question about smoking that's, should I quit smoking? Should I go meditate? Very few people say, should I keep stressing? Should I keep that person who drives me crazy? No one asks that. They say, should I let go of that person, or should I tell that person no, or should I communicate how I truly feel? So if you look at the way you wrote the question, that might be a hint as to what you're hoping to do. You might have written down a question in the deepest form of what you're hoping the answer would be. And I'm saying this because no one outside of you can give you the answer that you want, and you already know often what the answer is that you want. We've just created a society that has created the illusion that they need to find permission to do the thing that they want to do in their deepest calling. If you ask someone who's doing the inner work, they're often going to support you in your deepest calling. That's another hint. Who are you asking? Are you asking someone that you know will give you permission to stay small? Or are you choosing to find someone who you know will expand you? Who you're choosing to ask is a sign. Now, as I said, it's not always that you're asking for your expansion. Sometimes we do ask for permission to stay small. But if that's the case, and you're not quite sure, the biggest answer I can tell you is just this. Does it expand me? Am I creating more of a life for myself and eventually people around me? Or is it me wanting to hurt someone else directly with no reason for myself? Or is it me just wanting to hurt myself? That's probably a no. Would it give me permission to stay small? Or would it give me liberation as I step into something bigger and bigger and bigger that I can't see but can feel in my body, would get me more connected here? So if you wrote down a bunch of questions, you can feel when you look at the question, sometimes, mostly, the answer is yes. How trippy is that? Because you're only looking for permission inside of you. That's our job, is to find and follow that thing that we feel liberated and bring that liberation to the world. Now, here's what's even crazier. This morning I was feeling a lot. I was mourning my mom more. My mom passed away 6 weeks ago. And I was asking myself, should I go to the gym? Now, I left the gym in the middle. But I didn't know this was a result that I wanted. When I went to the gym, it gave me time to be working out and connect to myself, where this idea that I made for this video showed up. So sometimes you'll get a yes for a reason that you can't see. So if you're getting a yes for should I leave a job and you're scared, there might be a reason you can't see, like a calling that'll show up in you, or you'll end up sitting on a plane next to someone who wants to give you a better job. You can't see it. So the yes doesn't often have proof or evidence. The yes just feels good. Because when I went to the gym, I came up with that idea and then left in the middle of it. I wasn't necessarily going to the gym just to work out. I was going to the gym to get connected to myself, clear myself, clear my mind, come up with this insight, and immediately come home and make a video that hopefully can help you give yourself permission and eventually other people permission to step into your greatness inside of yourself too. That was all included in my should I go to the gym. I didn't ask myself, should I stay home? I asked myself, should I go to the gym? So if you wrote down some questions before I had this explanation, hopefully that might shed some light on the answer you're looking for. And you might say, no, Kyle, what about this one? This one's not good. Well, then that means you knew that. You can see when you make that point that it's not your highest calling. Otherwise, you wouldn't have used that as an example. So even when you do that to prove that point, you still have the deepest answer in you. Because if you can look through your questions and go, well, actually, this one's destructive, Kyle, you're wrong. It's not all yeses. Got it. You could see that, though. So it's not your highest calling. So you have all the answers. And your job is to get into the practice of noticing how you asked yourself that question. And if you are confused, write that down. And you might suddenly have, should I just go away for a minute and understand this, or should I meditate? The answer should be yes. It doesn't mean say yes to everything. Sometimes you're saying yes to what you wrote down. Should I leave this situation? Should I tell that person no? Should I cut this thing off? You can say yes to a no and it still be a yes. So hopefully that gives you some insight and more proof in yourself to say yes to those things based on the way that you ask them. How exciting.